أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum everyone to our third lesson of translation of the Holy Quran in English and in Urdu. Today we are going to be studying from Surah Baqarah, which is chapter 2, verses 74 to 76. And in these verses, we are just going to do a quick background information check and learn about what these verses consist of. And this is something very important because whenever we're learning about verses, the translation, is always good to know the historical background, and especially these three verses hold great importance upon understanding the situation in Makkah and the conflict between the Muslims and the Jews and the Medinites and everyone living in Makkah at the time. And it's good to understand the atmosphere. And especially with the first verse, verse 74, this relates to the jealousy of the Jews that they had against the Muslims, especially after the conquest of the Battle of Badr, the victory of the first battle. The Jews behaved very arrogantly towards the Muslims, and they taunted them, they tortured them. And one incident which is mentioned in the commentary of this verse, and which the Quran is actually speaking about, is when a woman, a Muslim woman, was going shopping in the market, and she was encountered by a Jewish shopkeeper and other Jews who were sitting at the shop, and they behaved very insultingly towards her. And the shopkeeper mischievously fastened the lower part of her mantle to the upper part thereof with a thorn, so that when, being unable to bear the insults, she unsuspectingly rose to depart, and part of her body became naked, at which the shopkeeper and other Jews burst out laughing. This made the helpless lady cry for help. A Muslim that was walking nearby heard her cry, and he rushed to the place, and in the fight that ensued, the shopkeeper was killed, whereupon the Jews fell upon the Muslims and murdered him, and the situation threatened to develop into a sort of a riot. And so this is what was happening with the Muslims. You know, wherever they would go, they would, in their home that they were living in, they were being tormented, and they were abuse was being held towards them, and the Muslims had to defend themselves, and they had to stand up for each other, and especially for the women who were more vulnerable than anyone else, as we can see from this incident. And the ringleader of all this was a man called Ka'b bin Ashraf, who was living in Medina at the time. And when he saw that the Muslims were increasing in numbers, he traveled from Medina to Mecca. And this man was sort of known for his poetry, and he would use his poetry to rally up the Jews and the people living in Mecca to turn them against the Muslims. And he did this constantly, and he became known to be the person that the Jews would look to for guidance. And so this is what was happening in Makkah at the time, and they killed this companion of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, innocent companion who was defending a woman who was innocently trying to buy necessities from the market. In the second verse, Allah the Almighty describes the Jews, some of the Jews, as their hearts became like stone, or even worse than stone, and explains that even stone has benefit for man, because water gushes out from stone, so we can benefit from it. So their hearts became even harder and even worse than what stones are. But the Quran also mentions that amongst the group of evil people, there were people who submitted themselves to Allah the Almighty and feared God Almighty. And in the last verse, we understand that their hearts were so hard that they would physically see the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, receive direct revelation from Allah the Almighty. They could see him receiving the verses of the Holy Quran. But even then, they would go away and they would twist the words of the Holy Prophet ﷺ to turn more people against him. So this was the atmosphere, this was the mindset of the people, and this was the what the Muslims were going through during this time. So now we've understood the verses, we've understood the background. So now we will go through the recitation of the verses, and then we'll go through the split word translation, and then we'll go over the hard words at the end. So I'll just start with the recitation. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقلنا اضربوه ببعضها كذلك يحيي الله الموتى ويريكم آياته لعلكم تعقلون ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة أو أشد قسوة وإن من الحجارة لما يتفجر منه الأنهار وإن منها لما يشقق فيخرج منه الماء وإن منها لما يهبط من خشية الله وما الله بغافل عما تعملون أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله ثم يحرفونه من بعد ما عقلوه وهم يعلمون. So these were the verses, and now we'll just go over the split word translation. So قلنا, we said, اضربوه, you apply him, ببعضها, with بعضها, a part, that. كذلك, thus يحيي الله الموتى, يحيي, he gives life, Allah الموتى, to the dead. ويريكم, and he shows you, آياته, signs, his آياته, his signs, لعلكم, that you may تعقلون, understand. ثم then قست قلوبكم, قست, became hard, قلوبكم, your hearts, من بعد ذلك, from after that. So هي كالحجارة, هي, that was, or it is, كالحجارة, ka means like, الحجارة, like stones, or أشد, more intense or worse, قسوة, harder. And إن من الحجارة, surely of al-hijarati, the stones, lama, indeed, ma, what, yatafajjaru, he bursts forth, minhu, from that, or from it, al-anharu, from the streams, and inna minha, indeed from it, lama, indeed what, yashaqqaqu, that cleaves asunder, so يخرج منه, it flows from that, it flows from it, الماء, water, or the water. And inna minha, indeed from that, lama, indeed what, يحبط, he humbles himself, min khashyatillah, from the fear of Allah. And mallahu, Allah is not bighafilin, unmindful, from ma, what, ta'malun, from what you do. Afatatma'una, do you expect, or do they expect, an, that, yu'minu, they will believe, lakum, for you, and qad, indeed, kana, he was, fariqun, a party, minhum, from them, yasma'una, they hear, kalam Allahi, the word of Allah, kalam, the word, Allahi, Allah, thumma, then, يحرفونه, they change it, من بعد, from after, ما, what, أقلوا, they have understood, who, it, وهم, and they, يعلمون, they know. Now we'll do the quickly Urdu tarjuma of the verses. فقلنا, پس کہا ہم نے, اضربوه, مارو اسے, ببعضها, ساتھ اس کے بعض کے, كذلك, اسی طرح, یحیی اللہ, زندہ کرتا ہے اللہ, الموتى, مردوں کو, ویریکم, اور دکھاتا ہے تم کو, آیاتہ, آیات اپنی, لعلکم, تاکہ تم, تعقلون, عقل کرو. ثم قست قلوبکم, پھر سخت ہو گئے دل تمہارے, من بعد ذالک, بعد اس کے, فہی کالحجارۃ, پس وہ مانند پتھروں کے ہیں, او یا اشد قسوۃ, زیادہ ہے سختی میں, وَإِنَّ, اور یقیناً, من الحجارۃ, بعض پتھر, لما, البتہ, ایسے ہیں کہ, یتفجر منہ, بہتی ہے ان میں, الانہار, نہریں, وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا, اور یقیناً بعض ان میں, لما یشقق, سے البتہ ایسے ہیں کہ پھٹنے ہیں, تو نکلتا ہے, منہ, ان سے, الماء, پانی, اور ان یقیناً بعض ان میں منہا, ان میں, لما, سے البتہ, یحبط, ایسے ہیں کہ گرتے ہیں, خشیت اللہ, ڈر سے اللہ کے, وما, اور نہیں, اللہ بغافل, ہرگز بے خبر, عما, اس سے جو, تعملون, کرتے ہو تم. افتطمعون, کیا پھر بھی تم طمع رکھو گے, ان کہ یؤمنو, ایمان لاؤ گے, لکم, وہ تم پر, وقد کان, حالانکہ یقیناً ہے, فریقن, ایک فریق, منہم, ان میں سے, یسمعون, جو سنتے ہیں, کلام اللہ, کلام اللہ کا, ثم یحرفونہ, پھر تحریف کرتے ہیں وہ اس میں, من بعد ما, بعد اس کے, ما اکلوہ, انہوں نے سمجھ لیا تھا اس سے, وہم, اور وہ, یعلمون, جانتے ہیں. So this was the Urdu translation, and now we'll just go over the hard words, which are idribu, you hit, or you smite, or you bring to light, marotum, and idribu means many different things, but in this sense it means bring to light, or make people understand, and this is a commanding word for the plural tense. Kadhalika, isi tarah, thus, mauta, the dead, murde, yuri, وہ دکھاتا ہے, he shows, قصت, it became hard, سخت ہو گئے, اشدو, much more, بہت زیادہ ہے, قسوتاً, سختی, hardness, یتفجرو, بہتے ہیں, it gush forth, یشککو, that cleave asunder, that splits, that breaks apart, وہ پھٹ جاتا ہے, یخرجو, نکلتا ہے, brings forth, یحبتو, humbles, he humbles, وہ گر پڑتا ہے, خشیتی, در, فے, تعملون, you do, تم کرتے ہو, تطمعون, you expect, تم امید رکھتے ہو, یؤمنو, وہ ایمان لائیں گے, they will believe, فریقن, ایک گروہ, a party, یسمعون, they hear, وہ سنتے ہیں, کلام, the word, بات یا کلام یا باتیں, یحرفون, they pervert, they turn aside from proper use, they distort or they misplace. وَبَدَلَّاتِ. So these are just some of the words, and it's good to go over the hard words. So when you're reading the Quran, many of these words come again and again. So it's good to go over these and to learn them in this way also. So we're trying to exercise different ways of learning, whatever suits you best. So inshallah, I pray that our knowledge increases of the Holy Quran, and that we learn to love the Holy Quran in the best way that we can. So may Allah enable us to fulfill these requirements as Muslims and as Ahmadis. Jazakumullah jaza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.